For you a fool, gave you my all, loved you for you. Through all your faults, I remain true. Broke all my rules so you could be happy, I chose to lose.
For 2 years, I gave you the best I had. I may not have had a lot of money, but I had things that money can't buy. You'll never find another woman like me or better than me. Good luck. So, that statement is kind of self-explanatory, but I just had to make sure I covered all my bases and let homeboy know that you will never find anybody like me or better than me. So just don't even worry about it. Boy, stop calling me with your issues. I don't want to talk unless it's I miss yous. I ain't trying to listen unless it's I get yous. I ain't trying to touch unless it's I hit yous. Okay, so let's break that down one line at a time. Boy, stop calling me with your issues. I don't want to talk unless it's I miss yous. Okay, so at the time, the guy that I was dealing with, the only time he would call me is when he wanted something. So basically, he wanted me to work, or he needed to run something by me involving work or him or whatever the case it may be. He never called me just to say, hey, how you doing? It was always something pertaining to work or pertaining to him. So I ain't trying to listen unless it's I get yous. I ain't trying to touch unless it's I hit yous. So basically, I had got to the point where, I was aggravated. So it was like, I'm not trying to listen to what you're saying to me unless you saying I get you and I understand where you're coming from and you gonna make adjustments. And, I'm not trying to touch unless it's I hit yous. You know what I'm saying? It's time to get physical. No, I'm just playing. Ladies, no, we don't hit men. Don't do it. Don't hit the men out here. But basically, it was just a play on words. Like, I don't want to touch you. I don't want to hug you because I'm mad at this point. So, like I said, really, that combination of verses was really a play on words and a play on the senses. So, listen, I don't want to talk, touch, hit. So, yeah. I done stayed down for you, but you ain't stayed down for me. This a one-way street. When you call, I come, scream, I run, but the love I'm shown back is none. So, basically, it was a situation of where, I'm doing the most for you, but you're not reciprocating that energy. You know what I'm saying? I'm going out of my way for you, but you're not doing the same for me. I'm always down for you, but you're not for me. When your son popped up, did I flip out? Nah. I bought him some toys, I ain't trip out. But it's been 6 months and I ain't met the man. It's been 2 years and I ain't met your fam. Okay, so there was a crazy situation in which a little crumb snatcher popped up. Okay, that's a story time in itself. But the situation was understandable and I wasn't even tripping about it. Like, it was an understandable situation. I just said, okay, cool. But the problem came in when I had bought the little boy some toys and all of this, but it had been 6 months and he had not brought the little boy to see me. I ain't never laid eyes on this child. And so, that got me to thinking. I'm just like, okay, you're not really planning on spending a life with me because you won't even bring me to see your new son or bring him to me or anything. So I was like, you playing. Okay, so the part where I said it's been 2 years and I ain't met your fam. Okay, let's break this down because this is trifling. Okay, so I had met certain of his family members, but get this. They only knew me in the capacity of being the help. Okay, they only knew me as being like his assistant. They didn't know us as dating. And when I would ask him, well, what's up with this? His explanation, I'm grown. I ain't got to tell them nothing. I can do me or whatever the case may be. But I'm just like, yeah, no, you playing because you won't even, let people know out in public that we think. Who you hiding me from? Your wife? What you live a double life? Boy, be careful because what's in the dark will always come to the light. So, that really ties into the whole family thing again. Like, what you hiding from? You got a wife at home? What you running from? I never really asked you for much. Just your time and your touch. But you always in a rush building everything but us. So he was kind of a jack of many trades. And one of the things he did was construction. So I was kind of feeling like, why you out here building everybody else's house and they buildings, but you ain't building this relationship? Okay, you building everything but us. Keep your money, I don't need it. Stingy anyway, always want but never seeding. Big on loyal, but you ain't and I bleed it. Tired of being a down chick starving while you eating. Okay, so let's break that down a little bit more. Keep your money, I don't need it. Stingy anyway, always want but never seeding. Okay, so Boo Boo Kitty had a little bit of money, allegedly. Now, the reason I say allegedly is because I ain't never seen no bank statements, okay? But we just gonna go with what he said, that he had a little bit of coins. But when I tell you this man was a cheapskate, okay, he ain't never want to spend no money on me. And I'm not talking about mansions and cars. I don't ask for stuff like that. I asked him for $30 worth of gas and he hit the ceiling. And I'm using the gas, running all around town for you. But you can't even give me $30 for gas. You know, I'm always there for you when you need me, you know, and whatnot. But it looks like to me that you just want to receive, but you don't want to reciprocate. So that's what I meant by I said, you know, you stingy, you always want, but you never want to seed. You want to reap that harvest, but you don't want to plant nothing into somebody else. So big on loyal, but you ain't, and I bleed it. Tired of being a down chick starving while you eating. So he was really big on loyalty. That was like his biggest thing. Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. And I'm like, I find that so funny because I'm loyal to you, but you're not even loyal to me back. I can run all around town for you, but if I need the smallest thing, I get pushed on the back burner. It don't matter. You don't really care. You know, I'm tired of always being there for you, sacrificing my stuff, starving while you eating. Boy, you a fool. Gave you my all. Loved you for you. Through all your faults, I remain true. Broke all my rules so you could be happy. I chose to lose. Child, I loved his dirty draws. It's sad that he was just too stupid to see it. I put up with a lot of stuff that I had no business putting up with, just for simply the sake of trying to make things work. You know, like there was a lot of things that I just should not have dealt with. But I put myself on the back burner to make this work. But you took me for granted. Think I'm replaceable? Have at it. You'll be hard pressed to find another chick that can match half of my status. So let's go ahead and double back to that. You'll never find another woman like me or better than me. Good luck line. Okay, we're going to double back. And so we had to reiterate that again. You played me like a fiddle, turned a simple love into a riddle. It's so funny how you always point the finger, but you never look in the mirror. Child, when I tell you this man was never wrong about nothing, okay, everything was always everybody else's fault. He could never look in the mirror and see where he might have gone wrong in situations. As my mama would say, you too busy pointing the finger to see that the thumb is pointing back at you. I'ma take it as a lesson learned, no longer giving what ain't been earned. And since money is the God you serve, you gonna reap everything you sowed on God. That's word. So, okay, let's break down the first half of those bars. I'ma take it as a lesson learned, no longer giving what ain't been earned. So I used to have a really bad habit of always trying to prove myself to people, you know, make them see my worth so that they will understand how valuable I am. And that was kind of sort of what I was trying to do with him. And as I've gone through life, I realized that that's a no-go. Like, if people don't see your value and your worth in the beginning, you don't have an obligation to make them see it. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that ends up happening is you trying to prove yourself to them ends up turning into them using you because they see that you're trying to meet a mark that really ain't even there. Okay, since money is the God you serve, you're going to reap everything you sowed on God. That's word. Okay, so that is my absolute favorite line out of the whole song. Now, like I said before, homeboy had some money, allegedly, okay? He was all about the bag, which there is nothing wrong with being all about the bag, okay? But if you know you're going to put money over everything else, including a spouse, don't get a partner. Don't do that, okay? If you know that money is above everything, you ain't going to prioritize or even make for a smidget of time for somebody else, just don't get in a relationship. Keep chasing the bag. And so, since money is the God you serve, you're going to reap everything you sowed on God. That's a word. Now, you know, like nowadays, everybody likes to use the phrase on God. So I thought it was a nice little play on words and biblical principles. Since that's the God you serve, you're going to reap everything you done sowed on God. That is word. So, why I stayed for so long? Well, if you know me, like, I hate failing. Like, for me, failure is not an option. Like, I'm a perfectionist and I always naturally just want everything to work out. So when it came to this situation, it's like I tinker with it, kept going with it, even though I knew things weren't right, you know, just for the sake of not wanting to fail at it. But as I've gone through life, I've learned that failing at things is okay. Like, you always get lessons out of situations, but everything is not meant to be, and it's okay to fail. Like, I'm still learning that on a daily basis, but I remind myself of that often. Like, it's cool. Some things are just not meant to be. How did things end between us? So our ending was pretty anticlimactic. You know, it was just through a series of text messages. And the last thing I texted him was okay. And it wasn't an okay to us being over. It was more so where I sent him a respectful text message about something that he had said that I was kind of like, eh. So he got an attitude and sent me a smart text message back. And I just said, okay. I haven't talked to him since. He hasn't called me. I haven't called him. He hasn't texted me. I haven't texted him. So what do I think about him? So I was really angry initially at the situation because I was just like, you know, why did you treat me like this? Like, I didn't deserve to be treated like this. I would have done anything for you. And, you know, I only really tried to do you right. But as I have been on my own personal journey to self-healing and growth, I realized that there are certain things that happen for a reason with people. And although he appears to be a really strong person, which he is, he still has certain areas of his life that are broken and which he needs improvement in those areas. So that really helped to provide me with closure because it was like, okay, some of this stuff was not your fault. It's just internal issues with him. And so over time, I've actually come to pity him a bit because it's just like he'll never be able to have meaningful relationships unless he gets the things that's going on with him worked on and fixed. You know, this was a problem before me, during me, and it'll continue to be a problem after me unless he works on himself. So really just taking my own personal journey as far as self-growth and self-awareness, that really helped to provide me with closure as far as why people do the things that they do and how he is the way he is. Okay, so that is a great question that I ask myself often. So after I dropped it, I never heard from him. So I'm assuming that he never heard it. I haven't spoken to him in months. So I actually don't know, but now that you said this, it tempts me to just go ahead and drop that YouTube link to him. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so that kind of ties into the first question. Girl, I have not heard from him. And, but you know, it's okay. I'm not worried about it. Like I said, it might be time to drop that link. Okay, so I think that story time should have cleared that up. You know what I'm saying? A bad relationship was the motivation. Okay, so for me, the verse that I enjoyed writing the most was probably the last line. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my opening statement and my first bars, but that, if money is the God you serve, you're going to reap everything you sowed on God, that's word, that hit different for me. Okay, that had to be my favorite one to write. Okay, so a few years back, Rick Ross and Drake came out with a music video for their song Ashton Martin Music. And I loved the way they were using the cars, how they had the cars lined up on the beach. And ever since I seen that, I always wanted to do something with a fancy car. So I thought that it was kind of befitting for this remix just with the vibe of it, the music and everything. So I got to brainstorm and I was like, you know what? I think it would be beautiful at night with like the nice Atlanta skyline and whatnot. And so that's how the concept was born. And then Vic over there at 3PV Productions and Reginald Grady on the behind the scenes, they made it happen. You know, the rest was history.
You played me like a fiddle, turned a simple love into a riddle. It's so funny how you always point the finger, but you never look in the mirror. I'ma take it as a lesson learned, no longer giving what ain't been earned. And since money is the God you serve, you gon' reap everything you sowed on God, that's word.